Welcome everyone to the Pantheon. I am Ray.
And I'm Evie.
And today, Evie, what are we looking at?
We are looking at Black Widow.
That's right. The 25th MCU movie, I believe it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay. So, this one is a long, years in the waiting, 2 years, I think, since it's supposed to come out a year ago. So, give us the breakdown in a minimal sense.
Breakdown. It's Black Widow's story, how she was raised and stuff, her backstory. I enjoyed it actually. The first time I saw it, it was okay, but then I saw it again and I thought it was good. Special effects were awesome.
Mm-hmm. Was this complicated for understanding the story? Because this takes place. I mean, it's no secret. This takes place shortly after the events of Civil War, because both her and Steve Rogers are still on the run, and that's a given, So, but I know how this is kind of like espionage. So there's a lot of things going on. But was this easy for you to follow through with this one, to understand the storyline and how that develops?
No, I didn't find it easy. It was kind of hard because you had her sister's backstory and her backstory, and then her dad came in. It was a lot to, I guess, comprehend for me, because there's this, that, and the other person. It was pretty good. Well, no, it wasn't. It was just hard to, I guess, take in. I found that anyway. And what was your view, or what did you?
Well, for me, I asked myself, okay, what do I know? And what do I know going into, and what do I learn from this? Like, what do I take away from this? And and what did I find out? So what do I know is that I knew this took place after Civil War, but before Infinity War, right? So it's in that chunk of time where now we learn in the post-credits of Civil War, Steve Rogers breaks out everybody. We learn, and when this movie ends, this ends just before the breakout. So it's just a few months they've been apparently they've been in prison for a few months or a few weeks, right? Everyone else has been captured, Ant-Man, the whole team. So that's a time frame. So that was something I didn't know. The one thing I did not know, which is kind of cool, the flashback. The opening sequence is before the credits roll, is her childhood, like her upbringing. It was in Ohio, and the year is 1995, which is important. This is the only spoiler I'll give away, is because in 1995, the only other thing we know that happened that year is with Carol Danvers on the Air Force before she, that whole incident. So in that same year, which was, I forgot where she was when the whole thing happens, before she gets taken away, or gets her powers, goes to the whole thing. But in 1995, at the same time in Ohio, we know that Natasha Romanoff was called back from her sleeper cell placement from the United States to go to Russia, and she becomes the Black Widow. So that's a pretty cool in terms of geography and time,
Right.
So that's pretty cool. The only thing that I knew going into that is that Yelena, the sister, played by Florence Pugh's character, will be the one who will be going on to do bigger and better things. It's basically her springboard to be seen in future MCU films. And then, of course, the post-credit scene of this tells you where we're going to see her next.
Okay.
Right. You know the post-credit scene, right?
Pardon?
You know what's in the post-credit scene of Black Widow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do. So there's going to be an MCU, and it's already revealed that there's going to be an MCU TV series where she'll be popping up next. So that'll be her introduction into the MCU present.
Awesome.
The only character which I thought was who got kind of robbed, and I think the way the trailer was cut, was Taskmaster. Because what we see in the trailer are basically the highlights of this character, and then you don't really see a lot of this character after these particular highlights.
I agree. I agree. It was just there. Just the good things that you saw were just the special effects. I was disappointed, actually. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that, but
The only thing we won't give away is like we do see who is behind the mask near the end of the movie. We kind of get a glimpse of like well, we know what the origin story of Taskmaster is. That's kind of a
Yeah.
shock, you know. And that
Yeah.
one, if you haven't seen the movie, we're definitely not going to spoil that at all because that's something that's the price of admission, is to see like what that story is. They completely retcon Taskmaster's origin from the comic books, but in terms of the skill set and how Taskmaster is able to mimic people's maneuvers, that's all into the movie. And they explain how Taskmaster is able to do Black Panther's move, Captain America's move, her move. It just has muscle memory. His ability for muscle memory and reflexes, though he doesn't have the power or strength, he could just mimic everyone's skill set. That's really cool. The villain really reveals himself in the end of the movie, so that's kind of surprising. But in terms of like the Red Room, how much of the story of Black Widow are you familiar with? Like, is to me personally, other than knowing like, you get a hysterectomy and that makes you a more efficient killer, which we learned in Civil War, and it's a place where they trained you. There's nothing much that I know of that storyline.
Okay. Yeah, same here.
Okay. Were you surprised where it's located?
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely, like, yeah, it was, well, but I know that it had to do with an orphanage, right? That I kind of got from the other movie, The Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron.
It was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was from the Age of Ultron when she has a flashback from the when Scarlet Witch gives her nightmares.
Yeah, exactly.
She flashes to her or to the orphanage.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I just know that little bit. I just can't wait for the rest of it.
Question to ask. Okay, from based on the trailer of this movie, was this what you expected to see? Was this were you led with the right intention going into this movie?
I expected more, actually. I was kind of sad and disappointed.
Okay, because
yeah,
you're not alone. I felt the same way too.
Okay.
No, I think I know. Behind the scenes, there's a lot of, the new CEO of Walt Disney is kind of not doing a well job, and there's a lot of lawsuit. But I honestly think if this had just as theatrical, this is my personal opinion, and this is strictly me saying this. I don't think after seeing this, I think the opening weekend would have done like gangbusters, but because of word of mouth, I don't think this movie would ever make like $1 billion. Like, I really, really, really don't see this movie being really, really great. I had more fun watching Ant-Man, and that's sort of sad because it's more comical. It's geared for kids, and there's still action. Though this movie has action and has a little bit of comedy, it's not as at the level of how. And I don't know if it's because we came off of like watching, like Endgame, and that big crescendo, like the culmination of that, and I think it's also the foreshadowing that that this character is dead. So besides giving us who to look forward to next, which is the sister, this really had no significant impact to me as the viewer. I knew this wasn't going anywhere, but like, or were these the machinations that were going through your head when watching this, or were you just hopefully going this with a clean slate and just taking it in?
I wanted to see a bit more of her life story, although there was a lot. Special effects were pretty good though, but yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah. The director, Kate Shortland, she's a great director. They kept it that's what I like about Disney. They get interesting directors, somebody new, a female perspective to give you this. I think Rachel Weisz was amazing in this movie. Played the mother, Melina. You get Red Guardian. Because I had no idea who Red Guardian's character was. We are going to be reviewing Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's a character that you and I discussed about having the soldier serum before Steve Rogers. So this was like that kind of storyline. So it's just an offset to that. So I think that's interesting. That might be the only connection between Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, in this movie necessarily.
Hmm.
People, when I heard rumors that there is tie-ins to that movie from this. This movie was supposed to air before Falcon and Winter Soldier in terms of the actual timeline, like terms of how the releases are. I don't know if this movie would have lifted or up the scale of the importance of that series, but I don't know. I don't think it has anything significant. I just think it helps with the Hawkeye series coming
Yeah,
later this year, actually. So
yeah,
for
it's
that.
cool.
Evie, thank you. If you want to reach us, you reach us on our website at www.pantheonofm.com. On that website, there is our Instagram or Twitter account. You can send us an email at pantheonofm@gmail.com and see all things that are Pantheon. It's hard to find us on YouTube or listen to our podcast. So if you go to our website, everything is there.
Sorry, that was my cat.
It's okay. That everything's there. You can catch us on YouTube, and again, it's easier. It's hard to find us on YouTube, so go to our website or www.pantheonofm.com. It's everything you need to do. And if you like us, hit subscribe or even hit the notification button or give us a thumbs up. Anything and everything helps. It gets us out there because it's so hard to find us. Every time I go on YouTube, I see like Roman castles and Colosseum. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So anyways, Evie, thank you, and we will talk to you later.
Later.